All right, my battery died before finishing the last chapter of the Gita. And this chapter is called Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. And we were on Shloka 62. It's a very interesting shloka. So we're going to continue it. We just have about 16 more shlokas or verses to go. 62 says, Tam eva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim stanam prapsyasi shashvatam. O Scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, we're on 61. My bad. 61. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. Seated on a machine. Yantra arudani. Yantra is the word for machine here. Now, is it a machine? Yantra can also mean a geometrical pattern or design, like a mandala. Yantra is a geometrical representation of a mantra. The most famous being Sri Chakra or the Sri Yantra. So this could take some unpacking, this shloka. I think the main thing to take away from it is that God is in control. God is the grand puppeteer. All living beings are under the influence of God and of the material nature, which is prakriti, made up of the gunas, the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Let's go on. And basically the idea is that Arjuna, listen, brother, you think you're the doer, but you're not really the doer. You are being done here, and so there is room for you to have non-attachment in regard to what is happening here. 62. And if you try to shirk your duty, your dharma, you will be compelled by your own nature and your dharma to do what you need to do, this thing that is here for you to do. Okay, I think that's the main upshot or import of what's happening. 62. Tam eva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim stanam prapsyasi shashvatam. O Scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. Surrender to God utterly. By his grace you will attain transcendental peace and supreme and eternal abode. And the supreme and eternal abode. This translation says, surrender exclusively unto him with your whole being, O Bharata, O Arjuna. By his grace you will attain perfect peace and the eternal abode. So grace. By the Lord's grace, prasad, the prasad of the Lord, through surrender, through the act of surrender, sharanam, surrender. 63. Iti te jnanam akyatam guyad guyataram maya vimshrai tad asheshe vimrishyai tad asheshena gate chasi tatakuru. Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. The other translation that I have, thus I have explained to you that this knowledge that is more secret than all secrets. It's more secret than all secrets. Guyataram. Ponder over it deeply and then do as you wish. So Krishna is not saying you must do this. He's not saying you have to do this. He's not saying I'm telling you this is what you must do, although in a way he is. He's saying if you don't do this, you're going to be compelled to do it anyway. And then he says kind of the opposite, which is, well, I mean, that seems very coercive. But then he says, well, ponder on it and then do what you want. So what is he really saying? It seems to be rhetorical, like, yeah, do what you want, but you're going to come around to what I'm saying here. Ponder on it and take your time, think about it, take all the time and space you need, but you're going to come around to what I'm saying. That seems to be what Krishna's getting at, but we can talk about that. 64. Sarva guya tamam buya shrinu me paramam vacha ishtosi me dridam iti tato vyakshyami te hitam. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction and most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Here again, my supreme instruction, the most confidential of all knowledge. I am revealing this for your benefit because you are very dear to me. Priya, right? Is that the word? You're dear. Ishta. Ishta asi, you are dear to me. Doesn't use priya here. He uses a different word. 65. So now he's going to tell him something even deeper, perhaps. Let's see. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evesyasi satyamte pratigjani priyosime. Let me read that last part. Mam evasyasi satyamte pratijani priyosime. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Always think of me, be devoted to me, worship me, and offer obeisance to me. Doing so, you will certainly come to me. This is my pledge to you, for you are very, very dear to me. So, I started in the last video, I talked about Edwin Bryant, and he's talking about that Krishna really ultimately is prioritizing bhakti, devotion to him, above all. And that this seems to be clear from that verse that he is. Offer everything to me, and you will come to me. You are my dear friend. Let's go on. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayisyami masuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Now, he uses the word all, sarva dharman. It doesn't necessarily mean religion. Here it's translated as all varieties of religion. Let's see how it's translated here. Abandon all varieties of dharmas and simply surrender unto me alone. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Now, it makes more sense. It doesn't make sense to say it's religion. Religion wasn't even a thing back then. The term religion came later. Dharma, though, in the Gita has other meanings, and it means duty, obligations. It means the duties of the different castes, which Krishna has already talked about in this chapter. So that it makes more sense in that regard. And he's saying, abandon all of your dharma, all dharmas, parityajya, abandoning all dharmas, come to me. This is a very important verse, and I think it's been much talked about, because all of a sudden Krishna is not saying do your duty, you have to do your dharma. He's saying you can even rise above dharma by devoting yourself to me. You still might have to do dharma, but I am above dharma, right? But I think, I don't think that Krishna is saying not to do his dharma. I think he's just saying, let go of that as the most important thing, because really it's ultimately about, it ultimately comes down to devotion, to worship, and to understanding. Dharma is just a tool for that. 67. Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na chashushrusave vacham na cha mamyo basuyati. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Let's read another translation here. This instruction should never be explained to those who are not austere or to those who are not devoted. It should also not be spoken to those who are averse to listening to spiritual topics, and especially not to those who are envious of me. So, don't read the Gita. Do not throw the pearls before swine, as Jesus said. Let sleeping dogs lie. Do not give away this teaching to those who are not ready, those who are not austere, those who are not devoted, those who are not going to listen, and especially those who are somehow, it says envious, but you could say antithetical to Krishna or to God. That could be unpacked too. All these verses, all these shlokas could. But let's move on. 68. Ya idam paramam guyam madbhakteshvad abhitasyati bhakti mayi paramkritva mam eveshyatya samshaya. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. At the end he will come. Let's read another translation. I don't like this translation, the first translation I've been reading. It does not that great from what I can tell. Amongst my devotees, those who teach this most confidential knowledge perform the greatest act of love. They will come to me without doubt. That makes more sense. Okay, so it's the end of the Gita, and Krishna is basically saying that this is who should receive this. This should be given to my devotees, my pure devotees, and they will come to me. The ones who are ready for this teaching will come to me. They will understand the teaching. They will get it. They're the ones who should receive it. 69. Nacha tasman manusyeshu kaschin me priya kritama bhavita nacha me tasmad anya priyataro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. No human being, this is the other translation, no human being does more loving service to me than they, nor shall there ever be anyone on this earth more dear to me. This is the most dear person to me, the one who understands this transcendental teaching, and they are the ones who are my most dear and the loving servant of me. They are the ones that should receive this. 70. Uchyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvadam avayo jnana yajnena tenaham ishtashyam iti me mati. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. The word for intelligence here is jnana, by his knowledge. Let's see the other translation. And I proclaim that those who study the sacred dialogue of ours will worship me with their intellect through the sacrifice of knowledge. Such is my view. So, yes, bhakti, devote yourself to Krishna, and reading the text and studying the text is jnana, right? It's a form of bhakti as well, but it's also using the intellect to understand the truth, right? Obviously, what we're doing right here, we're this video, you're listening, you're reading along with me, you're using your intellect. It's a form of jnana yoga, right? It's a form of knowledge-based yoga, guided by bhakti, or maybe not, if you're not, maybe you're just reading this to try to understand it, but you don't have that devotional sense. But someone who does, it would be jnana with bhakti, right? So, 71. Shraddhavan anasuyascha shrenuyad apiyo nara sopi mukta shubhalokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. Probably not the best translation. Let's read another translation. Even those who only listen to this knowledge with faith and without envy will be liberated from sins and attain the auspicious abodes, not planets necessarily, where the pious dwell. Doesn't make sense to talk about other planets, but other lokas. Lokas are locales or worlds, or not necessarily planets or abodes. Right, so you have to listen, but only those who listen with faith and without envy will be liberated. You can read this intellectually, but it won't lead you to liberation. Only if you read it from your heart with the bhakti element will you be liberated. Moksha, will you attain moksha. 72. Kachid etach churutam parta tvaye kagrena chetasa kachid agyana sammoha pranastaste dananjaya. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind, and are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So that Krishna is asking Arjuna, have you listened to this? Maybe he's asking us too. Have you listened to this with an open mind, and are your illusions dispelled from this discourse? Here's the other translation. O Arjuna, have you heard me with a concentrated mind? Have your ignorance and delusion been destroyed? Have your samoha, delusion, and agyana, ignorance. It's not avidya, but agyana. Has that been dispelled through listening with a concentrated mind? Eka agrena chetasa. 73. Arjuna uvacha. Now Arjuna uvacha nashto moha smritir labda tvat. What's the word there? Tvat prasadan maya chuta stitosmi gata sandeha karisye vachanam tava. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions." He's going to do what Krishna is suggesting he do, which is to fight. His illusion is gone. He's going forward. He will arise and fight this battle. Arjuna said, "O infallible one, by your grace my illusion has been dispelled, and I'm situated in knowledge." He's situated in knowledge. Let's see what that is. Tat prasadat, by your grace, situated stita asmi gata sandeha, he's free from doubts, situated it doesn't say he's situated in knowledge as far as I can tell here. Let's see what it says. It says stita asmi tat prasadat. All doubts are dispelled. Okay. Anyway, moving on. 74. Sanjaya, the narrator. Sanjaya uvacha. Ityaham vasudevasya partasya cha mahatmana samvadam imam ashrausham adbhutam romaharshanam. Sanjaya said, "Thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end." So his hair is standing on end. He's narrating the story, and his hair is standing on end. He is full of awe, whatever, goosebumps. 74. Sanjaya said, "Thus have I heard this wonderful conversation between Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, and Arjuna, the noble-hearted son of Pritha. So thrilling is the message that my hair is standing on end." 75. Vyasa prasadat shrutavan etad guyam aham param yogam yogeshvarat krishnat sakshat katayata svayam. By the mercy of Vyasa, who's supposed to be the author of this, Veda Vyasa, who is the sage who is writing this, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. Let's see what the other translation is. By the grace of Veda Vyas, I have heard the supreme and most secret yoga from the Lord of Yoga, Sri Krishna himself. So Sanjaya, according to this, did not receive it directly from Krishna, or maybe he did, I don't know, but it's through the grace of Vyasa, this great sage, who was enabling him to write this, or to I don't think this was written down at that time, but he's reading this, narrating this story, or maybe it's divine inspiration coming to him. 76. Rajan samsmritya samvadam imam adbhutam keshavarjunayo punyam hrisyami cha mahur muhu. 76. O king, as I repeat, now he's talking to Dhritarashtra, the blind king, who is Sanjaya is narrating the story to him in the chariot. They're in a chariot. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. So again, he's expressing his thrill at reciting this story. He's recalling this wondrous story It's in his mind, the story. Maybe he's told it before. As I repeatedly recall this astonishing and wonderful dialogue between the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and Arjuna, O King, I rejoice again and again. 77. Tachcha samsmritya rupam atyad bhutam hari vismayo me mahan rajan hrisyami cha puna puna. O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Now it's talking about the form of Krishna. And he's talking about his form, which is interesting, that's ending with the form of Krishna. And it says the rupam, the form, and Edwin Bryant makes the point that rupa also means beauty. So the beautiful form of Krishna, adbhutam, wonderful, hare, of Lord Krishna. As he's remembering this, hrisyami, I am enjoying, puna puna, repeatedly. 78, so he's having a great time telling this story. This is the last shloka, I believe, 78 of chapter 18, the final, the ultimate chapter of the Gita. Okay, so here's the last verse. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno Yatra Parto Dhanordhara Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. It seems to be the opinion of Sanjaya, right? The narrator. Suddenly Sanjaya he's putting himself in the story. He's saying, well, I'm the one who's been telling the story, by the way. And here's what I think. So let's read the other translation. Wherever there's Sri Krishna, the Lord of all yoga, and wherever there's Arjuna, the supreme archer. He doesn't say mystic. Yoga is not necessarily mysticism, but we could talk about that. There will also certainly be unending opulence, victory, prosperity, and righteousness. Of this I am certain. He doesn't say opinion, mati mama, that is my opinion. The other translation is, I am certain. Of this I am certain. Opinion is a lot weaker than saying I am certain, right? Anyway, there we have it. The entire Bhagavad Gita, 18 easy chapters, 700 verses or so, 700 shlokas. The dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, and it took us on a journey. At first, Arjuna is very upset because he suddenly gets cold feet at the thought of killing his own people, his uncles, cousins, teachers, etc., his own kinsmen. And he says to Krishna, what, are we crazy? And how can we do this? I'm not going to fight, but Krishna, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to your counsel because you are my friend and you're my counselor. And Krishna is not upset, and Krishna goes on this long discourse about yoga, Sankhya and yoga. Sankhya is the theoretical aspect, and yoga is the practical aspect.